Hey everyone, I just wanted to kind of review commutative and associative property. That's going to be coming up in your lessons for this week, so let's just talk about it. First of all, commutative property. This is where you're going to see how changing the order of the equation does not change the answer. Okay? So taking a look at this problem, so we're doing multiplication this week. 3 times 5 is the same as 5 times 3, okay? So what is 3 times 5? I'll give you a second. 3 times 5 is 15, right? What's 5 times 3? 5 times 3 is also 15 because 3 groups of 5 equals the same number as 5 groups of 3. And you can see that here because 15 is equal to 15. It's the same product. Now, product means the answer to a multiplication problem. So it's the same. So that is the commutative property. Okay? Commutative property, you can change the order, but the answer is the same. Now let's look at the associative property. Okay? The associative property is when the grouping changes. That means what goes in the parentheses here is different. Okay? So when we change what's in the parentheses, is the answer going to be the same or different? The answer is going to be the same. The associative property of multiplication states that you can change the grouping of the factors. Remember, the factors are like the addends, but for multiplication. And you still get the same product, okay? You still get the same answer when you group these numbers differently. So here we've got 3 times 2 times 4. So what's 3 times 2? 3 times 2 is 6. So it's 6 times 4 equals 24. Now, what about this? We've got 3 times 2 times 4. Now, what's 2 times 4? 2 times 4 is 8. So 8 times 3 still equals 24. So they are the same. Okay? 3 times 2 times 4 is equal to 3 times 2 times 4. So the associative property is that the grouping does not change the answer. So go ahead and you tell me, just say it out loud, what is the associative property? All right. Now tell me, what's the commutative property? Okay, so I hope you said it. Just for practice, let's do one together. Okay, so first we're going to work with the commutative property. So we've got 3 times 4 equals 12. So according to the commutative property, what could I do with these two, not addends, but factors, 3 and 4, to show the commutative property? Go ahead and say it now. If you said that I could switch the order, you would be correct. What I can do is I can solve 4 times 3, and it equals 12, the same. So that shows the commutative property. Now let's take this same example, except let's make it show us the associative property. Okay? So if we take 3 times 4 and we group that, okay, because the associative property is grouping, we know that 3 times 4 is 12. So what if we also say times 2. So we know that this is 12. So really we're saying 12 times 2. And what does that equal? 12 times 2 equals 24. Okay? So according to the associative property, if I group this differently, if I say 3 times 4 times 2, is my answer going to be the same or different? Well, let's see. 4 times 2 is 8. And what's 8 times 3? 8 times 3 is 24. So here we saw using the associative property that you can group these factors differently, but you still get the same answer. So that was reviewing the commutative and associative properties of multiplication. I hope that helped. As always, let me know if you have any questions.